So, congratulations on season 3, our first season as a team. I think, you know, the amount of new people who've come to the team and how much of it's grown over the past few months. Just got to give the congratulations to everybody, because from people who manage the team, Sasha and Scarlett, all the way to the new members who are getting into iRacing for the first time. Seeing nothing but the community grow, and the support for each other is insane. So just want to congratulate and thank everybody for taking part in these events for Team Happy Life Factory. It's been a pleasure. So unfortunately this season I won't be able to race regularly with the team due to work commitments, but after talking to Sasha, we're going to do everything in our power to get you these track guides every Monday. So you've got the maximum amount of time to practice before the race. So after some feedback, I'm not going to go into quite as much detail. I'm going to go into the main braking points and when I'm getting back on the power. And what I'm going to do is that each week I am going to run a different car. And if I ever have enough time, which I doubt it, but if I do, I'll run more than one car and see the differences. But what I've done this week is that I've looked at all the telemetry from other iRacers and some of the top tuning sites and found what I think is actually the fastest car for the circuit. So Road Atlanta is, as you know, it's a brilliant circuit, but it is also one that if you're in the wrong line and you're pushing too hard, it's going to punish you. So the great thing about using what we've chosen here for this track guide for today is the 911 GT3R. The reason why I think it's the quickest is because the nature of a rear-engined car such as this is that you're going to have to, under braking, you need quite a soft suspension setup naturally in the chassis. So with this circuit, there's a lot of bumps, a lot of curbs to mount, and you want the car to be as stable as possible. So that's why I think this car is probably the quickest here, by quite some, like maybe 2 or 3 times quicker than average over the other cars. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play the lap. I'm not playing you my fastest lap. I've had quite a long session on Twitch. A few of you guys were watching, just checking in. A few little questions asked. I might do it more often when I do my practices, actually. It gives you a bit of an insight on how my laps progress. So here I've done about 2 hours worth of testing this evening. And what the lap I'm going to use, these 3 here, after I put all my know-how together, done a few qualifying runs, done a few sprint setup runs, but here I put full fuel in, and these 3 laps together, obviously I'm going to show you the fastest, but they're all roughly the same. Okay, so I'm going to show you this one here. I'm just going to play it for you, and just keep an eye on my gears. I'll play it without the space, but the UI for the minute. Just keep an eye on my gears and just listen to the car, get an idea for the lines, and then we'll go into braking points and acceleration points after. Okay, right, I'll leave you with this. Okay, so that was my full fuel run, 118.645. Making this, I'm very, very tired. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning for me. So I think there's a little bit more time in there. I think there's definitely about, with more practice and a fresh head, I think you could get probably about another 4 tenths to half a second in there. But I'll show you the weather conditions. So this is what I'm testing with. So I get my testing conditions from the VRS site because they try and replicate and predict exactly what the average condition is going to be for the sprint races, which then also translates into the endurance race. But just be aware, as you've experienced all last season, it can run very hot in some races and it can run very cool in some races, and it dramatically affects the car. So if it does get hot, just bear in mind you've got to look after those tyres. So wherever I do teach you, you just brake that little bit earlier and you're just that bit kinder of the car if it's hot. If it's nice and cool like it is here, this is some nice temperatures here, very little wind. I didn't up the track usage. I completely forgot. Sorry, Sasha. Usually I have it on 80. That's my bad, but it doesn't affect too much the overall testing time. So when you do test, just make sure this is on 80% and you've got these settings put in. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Let's bring the lap back and we'll go through it. So I'm going to actually stay on board and I'll show you an outboard lap of it at the end. And we'll also go on to pit entry. This track is a killer if you get it wrong because you're going to go straight into the but I managed to get it perfect, just right on the limit, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to go scene by scene through the lap, and I just want you to see exactly where I'm braking and how much. So actually what I'm going to do, I'll play it here. And just as we get to this little high rise here, as soon as I hit this, I'm hitting the brake, but I'm not hitting it hard. It's quite light. So as you can see, braking point is there. So outside of the car, let's actually get a better view for our chase. It's just as we get to the end of the grass here. Brake it just before the end of the grass. And then you want to get on the power relatively early, and you're aiming to get here. That's what you're aiming to get. And we don't want the car to bog down too much going up the hill, so we want a half power to stop the car from slowing down. It also helps stabilize it. Now I don't hit the apex here because there's actually more grip here. You can hit this. I just found this line right for me. And as I build the power gently, the tyre model on these new on this season's GT3s makes the cars very skittish. So you have to be, somewhat respectful of the power. And then you can see, bringing it over to the right so I can get it ready for the next left. Let's just play. And we'll go back on board here. Okay, so we're lining it up. I'm gently wheezing off the power, brake. And we're going down to third gear. Don't go to second, it will slow you down too much. You want the car to flow. So you let the car just kind of, as you go, you want to kind of get on the power as you go over to help lift the car up, go over it quicker. It seems really anti-intuitive, but it works. And then you let the car glide over. And this track, you want to use every single one of these curbs. Loads of grip, it holds you tight. So I'm just going to push play on this section. Look at my steering. Okay, in the next braking zone, so I'm just going to bring it back. As soon as I start getting my car lined up here, so I'm kind of like making a straight line through, we're going to hit the brake. So we're going to go from 5th and we're going to go down 2 gears. So in a straight line. And when we go into 3rd gear, I don't want to turn too early and get on this. I kind of want to do my steering in 3rd gear here, so the bump doesn't push me out wide. So there's my 3rd gear. Rotate the car before I get on the bump. Use the rest of the bump to pull me in tight. I don't want to go too wide here. And I'm already on full power. Use all the exit. There's plenty of grip on this exit. Just make sure you line it up correctly. No incident points got here. This is the correct line. Okay, and then it throws you out. And now you're in a nice line all the way to the bottom. Now, the next braking zone, I'm going to go 5th gear down to 3rd gear as we enter this double right-hander. White line here is my reference point. And I'm going to be braking just before it, ever so slightly as the nose hits it. Bam, brake. Very heavily in the Porsche. Down 2 gears. As we go into the 3rd, we're really getting it in tight. You want to get turning nice and early. There's a lot of banking in this corner, a lot of camber to help get your car around. And you can get on the power very early on in the corner. But there's a lot of trail braking. Off the brake, as soon as you have to brake, full power already. So much grip in this corner. And then it's going to push play. As you can already see, I'm already slowing down. It's very quick, these 2 corners. This is probably the most difficult corner on the track apart from T1. T1 is tricky and you're most likely to get a spin and crash there. But make sure you practice that. But this is the one that during a race, that if you miss your braking point, you're going to come off, you're going to go on the grass, and it's very difficult to get back on the track. You lose a lot of time, a lot of places. So just going to bring it back up so slightly. And as you can see, before we're even halfway, bam, I'm already on the brake, and I go down all the way to 1st gear, and I got quite a late apex, so I don't want to go early. I don't want to get on it very early. I'm looking for a late apex here. Still trail braking, down to 1st gear, and then I can get on the power. Not flat straight away, you have to balance it, and then full power. Use all of the exit if you can. Try not to catch the grass, it will slow you down, it can spin you. But yeah, use all the track that's available to you. Right on the limit there. I know the tracks that my guys do look aggressive sometimes, but this one, it just, once you naturally get in the flow, you get used to using the curbs. It's a way of driving I've really encouraged. That's what practice is all about. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, and it no longer feels aggressive. It feels like you should be doing it. Okay, not much to see here. What I will say is that I try and move the car as little as possible in this section. So during a race, obviously you can weave, get your slipstream, but if you're on your own or you're going for a fast lap, you don't want to keep moving the car left and right. So just keep it in a straight line. Here I start bringing it to the right now, to apex here, but I'm going to go outside slightly, so when I turn back in, put a chicane at the bottom, I'm on an angle where my car is pointing to the rumble strip on the right hand side. So as we get to this 100 marker, just before, I'm going to slam on the brakes, and I'm going to be braking all the way down to 2nd gear, and I'm going to use this rumble strip. Loads of grip, help you turn in. You can cut the grass so much on this chicane, on both sections. You can cut the grass more on the first one. The second one you kind of want to avoid cutting. It can slow you down or spin you. And just be careful on the exit. Use the rumble strip, use all the rumble strip, but just be careful not to get pulled out too wide. So here I'm aiming to get my left wheels across this bit. It's not a slowdown, it's not an incident point, it's completely legal. If you don't do it and you go around the corner, you will lose out so much time. I'm going to do in that bit is, don't want to go into too much detail, but I balance the throttle through this whole section. Very important. So I'm just going to run through it in slow motion so you can just see how I'm balancing the throttle. As soon as I get a chance on straight, full throttle. As soon as I have the direction change again, I lift the throttle. When you lift the throttle, that helps the rear differential, helps steer the car. And then as soon as I can, I get back on the power. Use all the exit. The rumble strip's got lots of grip. It pulls you back in. And then we're going to be cutting across this corner. And so here, it's the same line as if you're going for a fast lap or pit. So now if you're pitting, you keep right and you start slowing down immediately. I'm just going to run this through. This is all flat out. Okay, so that's one lap of Road Atlanta. Love this circuit. I know it's a difficult one to get used to if you've not raced it before, but when you do really get the hang of it, it is majorly rewarding. It's a very racy track. What I'll go through now is I'll just run the lap again from the outside, and I'll be quiet for that, just so you can see the lines. Okay, I'll leave you with this for the minute, and then we'll look at pit entry. Okay, so now pit entry. Last lap here. So just going to fast forward it before we start talking. So this is my fastest lap. It was a 21-second lap. Yeah, sorry, bad joke. Right, so exactly the same line before, and then I'll show you the onboard first to show you what it looks like. I'll just play it. Okay, and from the outside. Yeah, so all we have to do is that as you go over the crest, you lift just a little bit. Again, like pit entry, you want to do it safely, but you still need to do it fast, because if you're too tentative and you're too slow, you can lose loads of seconds and it can cost you many places. So here I've lifted, and as soon as I know I can make it and get in without putting over half the car, that's on the limit there, but I don't think you get a penalty for it if you get in. It's not like Formula 1. So I'm flat out down this section, and as soon as the road starts to turn again, I'm off the throttle, put the brake on nice gently. Again, I'm being quick, but I'm not being overly aggressive. Stay on the brake, because this is a Porsche. I want a trail brake just to get it turning. Back on the power, and then back on the brake turning right now, getting down to pit lane speed, and then whacking on the pit limiter, and then that's when I go full throttle. And that wasn't a black flag. You can get away with a few kilometers over when you go into the pit, but it needs to be like under half a second. But those lines, I'll tell you what, actually, I'll run it right now while I'm in the car, just so you can watch me do it again, and I'll talk about what I'm doing as a minute. So, never done this before. I've got a live drive. So we'll do this quickly. Disengage limiter. Watch your speed limit in the pits. Jake, you see, I can be quite aggressive of going in there. There's no penalties for. I've got all the penalties turned on, by the way. No penalties for going over the line at all, so we're fine there. But again, like I always suggest, that when you actually get in the race and you're practicing in that lobby, try it, because sometimes iRacing can be very funny and they can implement it last minute if they do an update. So just be careful, or it's just good practice. I doubt it, but we never know. So I'll just rewind that one more time. It won't let me. Sod's Law. So you can just see the entry again. Nice and easy. So I always have my pit limiter on a button that is nearest my thumb, so I know that when I come in the pit, I haven't got to remove my hands and mess up my steering as I'm venting. Also, top tip. So if I get back in the car, I'll turn the engine off. Right. I always put my pit lane speed limit in current speed as I'm entering the pit in eye line, so I can concentrate on exactly where the cones are and see exactly the speed I'm doing. And then that way, I'm less likely to make a mistake. There's less. You want as little eye movement as possible when you're racing. So little things like, if I just do this, pushing Alt K, I can move all these things around my screen. So I know a lot of you know this, but there's many new people who don't. So the top trick is your telemetry box, your black box. I just put that to my right hand side in a race, so that it's always within short eye distance. I haven't got to take my eyes off the road. It's just over there for this video. Again, flags, I have it within eye reach. Usually I put these over here. Lights for the race, I always have them where the not blocking the car in front, but directly on the road and eye range. because it's so easy to get caught out if you don't keep an eye. And then all other information, I keep it for these sessions. Again, just on my dash. Spot messages and stuff, I just keep them outlined. I actually have my mirror ever so slightly shifted to the right out of habit, as if I was actually in a real car. I know the Porsche should have it up here, but it's too far. So I have it just there. And all those little things, they basically just help stop you from making mistakes. It takes as much effort out of the racing as possible, so you can concentrate on the racing and less time worrying about fuel or moving things on screen and not knowing exactly what's going on. Those little things are what make you more consistent, and they do have a dramatic effect on your overall performance in iRacing. So I will leave it there this week. If you can, it will help out massively if any of you can follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitch. I'm not really doing a professional Twitch stream at the moment. Just haven't got the money to buy the right equipment. But I will be just streaming my track guide preparation on there. Try and do it every Sunday morning or one day during the week, early before even the week is up. So I'm going to try and always get them out to you way before the next race is started for the following week. Okay, all right, Team Happy Life Factory, enjoy the racing. Absolutely smash it at Road Atlanta, and I'm pretty sure we'll be much stronger this season. It'd be great to see your progress across the time. All right, from Simulation Motorsport and Team Happy Life Factory, good luck and all the best.